Ladies and gentlemen, bam! Adebayo, game winner from downtown. Miami Heat beat the Detroit Pistons 104-101. Very, very shorthanded today against a dismal team, but you need every single win that you get. You had to go with the squeaky butt cheeks at the end where the Miami Heat almost gave it away. Duncan Robinson, who at that point had carried Miami. Duncan Robinson, we'll get to him in a second, but had carried Miami. Terrible pass at the end of the game. And the Pistons are out on the run. Cade Cunningham, this is your moment. You have a chance to win this game in your building. 2004 Detroit Pistons being honored, 20 years since they had won their championship. Here is your moment. And for some reason, left Miami with 5 seconds left. He shoots the ball. Terry Rozier takes it down the court. I thought for sure he was. I have not been that surprised on a guy not taking a game winner since Dion Waiters in the, of course, famous D-Wade Washington game. I thought for sure, but he rolls in there. They had the double team, and he sees Bam there trailing. And for the third time in 3 games, Bam nails it from downtown, and it looked oh so pretty coming out of his hands. Let us hear the final call. This is, of course, Jason Jackson on the Miami Heat Radio Network, the Miami Heat audio experience. Here's Jax.
Rose has it. Out to Bam for 3 for the win. It's ball game. Bam Adebayo for the first time in his career. 3 consecutive made threes, and it's a game winner. 2 words for you, baby.
Play is under review for a last-second field goal.
After those words, hot Bam! I'm going to tell you right now, people, that one beat the clock. And it's official. Game over. Adebayo for the win on the road. Consecutive wins for the Miami Heat, as this one belongs to the Heat.
Beautiful. Great call by Jax yesterday. Hot Bam indeed. And, of course, that was interesting because just mere seconds of game time beforehand, Bam looked like he had a putback to put Miami up 4 at the time. They wave it off. They have to go review it immediately, and it was by the curves, the ridges of the fingertips. Not off in time. Shot clock violation. Motorcade comes back down. He evens it up at 101 apiece. Man, not gonna lie, this was a tough one to watch. It is great that we have Bam and his victory, the way that he was able to get it to put a great day, to end this with just a great moment that Miami needed, because you came into this game, no Jimmy Butler, no Nikola Jovic. We know Tyler Hero's out indefinitely. We know Kevin Love is out for the time being, and you are going to have to go in this game with your 32nd different starting lineup. That is a franchise record. At least that's what they said on the broadcast, according to Eric Reed. That's where I'm sourcing from. A franchise record starting lineup amount this season, which is kind of crazy because I thought back to the year they were the 1 seed, and I thought back, I was like, man, that felt like it had a lot of different variations. Last year, it, again, felt like it had a lot of different variations, but this year has taken the cake with the injuries to Tyler Hero, the trades made, the shifting around of things. It has been a grind. It has been a grind of a season, no doubt about that. But you get a moment like this out on the road, yeah, you kind of steal one that maybe you didn't play your best of and didn't deserve to win. But you get a moment like that from your all-star, from a guy who's just, maybe the Miami Heat going into this Detroit weekend had hit a bit of a rut with 4 games, but you think about the type of game this guy had against Nikola Jokic defensively, and then you can go to a guy like that. You're going to be relying on him in the closing seconds of a game, and that just speaks to him because today he is basically, the only guy who can go out there and get you rebounds for your team. He is the anchor of everything that you do defensively, and I truly, truly feel that the Miami Heat still – they're getting there. I think the Heat van is getting there. But this has been a slow roll with how they treat this guy. They still say always, he's out of position. He's not playing the right. Why don't you admire the fact that he goes in there with these Goliaths and he does compete and that he has gotten them all the way to where he's gotten them to go. And he has one of the most iconic blocks in franchise history and that you can rely on him for game-winning shots at the buzzer. Is that his second or is that his third at the buzzer? Because I know he's got the Nets one. Why am I thinking that he has – 1 or maybe 2 more? Man, that was really, really tremendous. That was really, really tremendous. How many buzzer beaters in Bam Adebayo's career? Buzzer beaters for Bam. How many buzzer beaters? I want to say I know for a fact he's got that and he's got the Grizzlies. Brooklyn. I think that's the only one. Full history of game-winning buzzer beaters. Jimmy Butler just had one against Chicago. Is that the last time Miami had one? Well, Miami had the Jimmy one this year. I know Tyler had the one against Utah. And now I think going back to it. Yeah, so that's his second career one. I thought for some reason that he had one that was like a putback or something like that. But man, what a finish there for Adebayo. The real story of this game before Bam though was Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson today makes history. He becomes the fastest player in NBA history to hit 1,000 career 3-pointers regular season, and that is just an impressive number to have. I was unaware of it until he was on the chase for it the last game. He finishes on 999, and he comes right out of the gate, but bang, gets it to get the Heat in this one. It was their second score of the game, put them up 5-0, but he does it in 343 games, which was 7 faster than Buddy Hield. This guy has just been absolutely awesome this year. The story's been told about what he's been able to do, and you could tell him. He said this in the post game with Eric and John, and saying that this organization has stuck with me. A lot of organizations I would have known probably would have been rats off a ship. He didn't use that exact quote, but you knew he was basically saying other organizations might have been rats off a ship on me. And it's true. This guy has been in trade rumors. He has been out of the rotation, but he is also a guy who is the pillar of going from written off to biggest contract by an undrafted player in history. And today, 30 points for the Miami Heat in this one, 7 of 12 from downtown. Just an absolute nuclear game from Duncan Robinson, but we always know it is more than that. It is his ability to go out there and facilitate. His chemistry with Bam Adebayo, appropriate that these guys lead the way because those guys work together just like it's a beautiful blend. But he had it today too where he had just beautiful moves where he's driving to the basket and he finds Jaime Jaquez for an assist and setting his teammates up. I'll never forget this year, man. You think about how much this stuff means to Duncan Robinson. You think back to the preseason this year where San Antonio, they're playing a bunch of G Leaguers, they're playing a bunch of scrubs, and Duncan Robinson goes. He goes to play in San Antonio with all these guys who are fighting for roster spots. And you think about this year where no Udonis Haslem, you need somebody to kind of be that beacon, who can be the guy everybody looks to. And he's the guy. He is the guy that you can behold and be like, hey, come on. This is the story now. It used to be for years it was Udonis Haslem, and yeah, UD's got the championships in his hometown, and there's always going to be things that no one can ever do that UD did. But with him gone, who has been the man who has stepped up in every single way? It's been Duncan, and they needed this one in the worst way. Let's go to a standing update here as we look. The Miami Heat have jumped up to 7th now At a record of 37-30, they will take on the Philadelphia 76ers. That'll be tomorrow night, so this is the first front end of a back-to-back. Jimmy did not play. I'd imagine this is one of the reasons they wanted to have him good to go for this Sixers game. He has been dealing with a foot contusion, and so you hope that he'll be good for these last two road games before they can come back for a big-time homestand for 4 in their building. But got to finish this one strong. These are two teams. One team you're literally neck and neck with in the Eastern Conference standings, and then they'll close this thing out with a game against the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up. So Miami cannot slack. They cannot slouch. They needed this one. It was hold your breath. Could have been really, really ugly because Cade Cunningham could have won that. And there was some really rocky plays there at the end. Terry Rozier with some pretty questionable decisions with where the clock was at in certain parts of these games. And I just thought that he needed to play a little bit more under control today. He had an okay performance by his standpoint. I mean, it was a team high. He was team high plus 20 on the day, which I would have never thought. But he finishes with 17 points. Did not have his 3-point shot going today, but did finish with 9 assists. But there were just a couple of moments there at the end where I'm just like, all right, if it's going to be in his hands, this dude just needs to have it corralled a little bit more and put your arms around it. We did see the return of DeLon Wright. Thought he had his moments. He played 20 minutes tonight, so he played twice the amount of Patty Mills, who was 0 for 4 today, and did not have the greatest plus-minus on his regard. That bench unit had a bit of a tough time for Miami, but mind you, it did have, you're now going on whatever metamorphosis the bench is at right now. The only, real regular you're getting off of that is Caleb Martin. They started Haywood Highsmith, and they started Jaime Jaquez, who also I thought needed a good performance. Jaime had been a little bit quiet and needed to I just think find his aggression in that starting lineup. And while it started off quiet for him in the second half today, I thought that he definitely picked things up where they needed him to. Just a much more productive second half from Jaime. But this one, the story of it is Bam. What a night for him. Really awesome. Great call by Jason Jackson there. And now you got to turn the page very quickly and get this one right into the next one. But this is the one thing I will say before we get out of here. The Bam Adebayo 3-point shot. It has been like the elusive unicorn of all Heat fans wondering, why does he not shoot this more? He has clearly done a lot of work on his mid-range game. There have been ups and downs with it, but it's definitely like he's got maneuvers and moves with his jump shot that he has just not had 3 years ago that he has now. And yeah, there'll be those ups and downs with the jump shot, much like any jump shooter. That's how it's going to be. But this 3-point, 3 games straight with a 3-pointer made, and they're all the same place. It's all top of the key, trailing. Everybody's kind of off him. This one was friggin' deep. I mean, he had no time. He had to get this one off, and it was a deep one. But he has that spot that he likes, which is trailing, top of the key. Everybody kind of lacks off, and I think for right now that's fine. It's almost the mid-range version of what he already had, which is everyone's going to back off him, beat us with the jump shot. Now you're going to be at this spot, and it's a little bit like everybody always talks about the parallels with him and Chris Bosh, and that's a little bit like the parallel of where they're saying, hey, you're good at this, step back, we get an extra point. And Spo will always say, guys want everything microwave, do you want fast? This has been a long-range thing, and I don't know if Bam Adebayo is the greatest big man shooter I've ever seen. I can only tell you based off of like warm-ups of seeing him play and 3-point contests in practice, he's decent. Like he's good. It's not like he's Karl Anthony Towns or Dirk Nowitzki or any of these, notorious big man shooters, but he's capable. And I wonder if this is something that he is going to unlock here as we do go into the postseason, and that is going to be there for him, because he's going to have, when he's especially facilitating, he's going to have those times with the ball's in his hand. And does he ever just throw them up and just to keep things honest or maybe open things up a little bit more now and then? But thank God for that one today, man. Needed that one. Needed a nice little fixer for what was a bit of a struggle to watch today on this Sunday afternoon. Man, hell of a game winner from Bam.